Arise, begun to thee this day, and I say, when you see the horrifying demon activity that men will give themselves unto, I say, count it a shame before me. For I say, when you see the ones who have given themselves over to demons, even though they are claiming to be mine, and they commit things that are horrifying, I would ask thee, why is it so? I say it is because they have lived in pretension, they have lived in hypocrisy and mockery of my name. And I say they have lived under coverings that are falsehood and lies, and I say that all have loved it so. But I say it is me, the living God, who is allowing the manifestation of my sore displeasure by the manifestation of demons upon the ones who are subject to the same. That is, upon the ones who have lived in the coverings of hypocrisy, pretension, and falsehood, and lived in lies. For I say it is me, the living God, who is allowing the manifestation of demon powers to horrifying extent to prove to them they are not serving me at all. That is, to prove there is no change, there is no transformation, for their hearts are far from me. I say this day that I, the living God, never called men to live in hypocrisy, to live in lies, to live in pretension. But I say that I've called them to live in me, to come forth in me, to be ever guided by my way. For I say it is me, the living God, who is the way of truth and life, the way of mercy and hope, and I say that men are meant to be giving their hearts unto me. That is, that it is me, the living God, who would keep them from the demon invasion, from the demon overtaking that is transpiring in these times. For I say it is me, the living God, who has declared it, and yes, it is true, that I have unleashed and will continue to unleash demon forces. And I say it is because the ones who claim that they love me, claim that they serve me, have not served me at all. But I say they've served their idols, they've served their images. Now I say they are liable for greater demon infestation. And I say it is because they are not covered by me, even though they may name my name. And I say it is because I have withdrawn my mercy, and I say that I've turned them over that they could indeed be devoured by the demons they have had their flirtations with. I say that I've given the warning, I will repeat the warning, that the demons are all throughout the land. That is, the hordes, the swarms, the manifestations of demons shall be seen to horrifying extent. And I say that men will tremble in fear and shake their heads in wonder at what is it that has come forth. I say it is my judgment, it is my wrath revealed against an adulterous, a wayward, a vile generation, a generation of whores. That is, who have said that they are mine while they played with demons, flirted with demons, and even cohabitated with demons. I say now they shall see to the full extent what it is that their demons can do. That is, the demons they have had their affairs with will come back to be their murderers, will come back to be their oppressors, will come back to be the ones who cause them to do things that are vile in my sight. I say this day that I, the living God, never called my people to live in flirtation with demons, and yet they have. That is, they have entertained demons in their minds, they have acted out in their imaginations what it is that demons would prompt them to do. And I say all the while they have falsely claimed that it is me that they love, that it is me that they serve. I say they have even paraded themselves as a part of the hypocrite show, while their hearts have been far from me. I say this day that I, the living God, never ever ever intended that my own people would walk in falsehood, would walk in pretension, would live in lies. Yet I say there are millions of them who do just that because they are covered in pretension and hypocrisy. I say they are covered in falsehood, and I say they've loved it so. That is because it has allowed them to have their own idols and worship the same. And I say that it has allowed them to live under fellowship with demons which they have entertained. And I say all the while they realize not they are playing with that which is deadly, they are playing with that which is destructive and will bring death. And I say all the while they thought they were clever because they got by with their so-called pretension towards me. That is, they got by with the vain show of religion while their hearts were far from me. And I say the sad thing is that many will be the victim of demons, that is, acting out those demonic agendas that will cause many to be horrified by the same. And I say all the while they will be professing that they are my people, but it is not true. That is because they never forsook the way of sin, the way of evil imagination to come unto me. That is, they never fully gave themselves unto me to live under my dictates, my desire, my command. But I say instead they were living in imagination, they were living in fellowship with demons, and I say they shall reap the same. For I say now that I, the living God, have unleashed more demons, withdrawn my mercy, I say that men will find they are captive slaves. That is, they will find they act out the agenda of demons, no longer able to wear their religious, pretentious mask. And I say all of their hypocrite show will be revealed to be just that. I say in this way, were vile, corrupt, and ugly generation, consider this. Consider that I, the living God, do intend that men would walk in the truth and the light, would be truly humble and submitted unto me. But I say, because men are caught up in the vain show, the proud show of religion, they think somehow they get by in the same. That is, they think if they do the rituals, if they do the routines, if they put on a vain show to be seen of others, then they can have their secret life of evil imagination. But I say that secret life will catch up to them, for I say that the demons will demand activity, that is, profession, of what they claim they love to adore. That is, in their imagination they live out fantasy, they live out filthiness. Then the day will come they are demanded by the demons to do the same. That is, not live it out in their minds, but do it with their bodies, do it with their actions and deeds. And I say, when you see the consequence of the same, I say that it is horrifying. I say that I, the living God, am indeed ventilating my wrath upon those who have lived in evil imagination in these wicked times. That is, upon those who have thought they got by when really it is not true at all. For I say they imagined they were some great thing when really they were nothing but blinded fools. And I say they've chosen a way of falsehood, they've chosen a way of pretension, and I say that all have loved the delusion. But I say they are utter fools, for they realize not that many will be the literal victims of the demons they have entertained. And I say not only will they be the victims, but others will be taken into the victimization by demons. For I say when men will not walk uprightly in me, I say they do not have the power to withstand evil forces. And I say when men will not come forth in me, I say they do not have the light upon the path. I say this day that I, the living God, do call thee to walk uprightly. I say that I call thee to walk circumspectly. And I say that I call thee to keep your vision single, that is unto me. That you can indeed come forth in the way that I offer, the way that I provide. I say in the times that ye are in, you best be keeping your focus upon me. That is, if you do not want to be caught up in the many manifestations of my wrath, my fury revealed. I say that I've given the warning, I've given the dictate, and men are meant to walk in the same. That is, they are meant to correct their imagination, their fantasy life, to bring their thoughts into captivity unto me. Now I say, when you see the tragedy that men have undergone, that others have been the victims of demon activity, I say, what is the consequence of the same? I say that the consequence is death, destruction, and damnation, and it is all for naught. For I say, if men would indeed seek to be subject unto me, and bring their thoughts into captivity unto my way, so could they be kept by me. That is, they could be kept in truth and light and mercy and strength and the hope of who I am. But I say, when men will insist and persist in evil imagination, they realize not that it is the habitation of demons. That is, when you entertain those thoughts that are a grief unto me, I say you are entertaining demon spirits. Now stop and consider in the modern style of religion that men give themselves unto. I say they are able to live in constant flirtation and even affairs with the devil. That is, they are able to fellowship him in all that they do to exhibit their so-called praise towards me. I say it is a lie, it is a deception, and I say it is conjecture that men have given themselves unto in preference to the truth. Therefore I say it is me, the living God, who will continue to allow the demon spirits to vex them sorely, for I say they have preferred the same. That is, until they act out the agenda of madness only to destroy themselves. And I say that others will be caught in the web of their destruction because they are under the power of demons. I say this day that I, the living God, never ever intended that men would be ruled by demons. I say yet they are. That is, they are ruled by demons because their hearts are far from me. They are ruled by demons because they are satisfied with religious pretension and hypocrisy rather than real relationship with me. And I say they are ruled by demons because they have chosen to believe in falsehood and lies rather than believe in me. Now stop and consider that I, the living God, never ever intended that horrifying things would come forth, and yet they do. And I say, when I release the demons upon humankind, I know the consequence of the same. But I say, because men are so stubborn and proud and willful and hateful, rebellious against me, I say that it is my wrath revealed. That is, that I beat them and beat them and beat them with the very demons that they have loved more than me. For I say they thought they could live with demons, entertain demons, love demons, and pursue the course of demonic activity, yet still be kept safe by me. I say they have behaved themselves as foolish children. Now I say they shall pay for the same. For I say you shall see many who act out demonic agenda, and others will stand back horrified. That is because they thought they were believing in me, but it is not true. That is, they were merely believing in a vain show of profession of religion that is nothing but hypocrisy and pretension and lies. I say this day that I, the living God, am angry, and I say that I'm sorely displeased with all who have put on a vain show. That is, the ones who have made the false claim that it is me that they love when it is not true. That is, the ones who have gone a-whoring after that which I have forbidden unto them. That is, they've taken up the ways, the practices of the heathen. They've acted out and continue to act out the activities of demons. And I say all the while they claim they are mine. But I say it is me, the living God, who has unleashed the demons, that more and more and more they will be able to demonstrate their vile behaviors, their wicked agenda, the corruption of who they are. And I say they will do it through those who have had their flirtations, their love affairs, and even their impregnation by demon forces. I say this day that I, the living God, am so sick of the hypocrites, the falsifiers, the liars, who go on in their proud display. I say that I will indeed give open demonstration of how repulsive they are to me. And I say even they will be shocked at what the demons shall do in their midst of them and by them and through them, because they refuse to be subject to me. And I say their religious shows will be marred, and their hypocrisy will be revealed. And I say it is indeed the ventilation of my wrath through demons that shall cause it to be so. I say this day, do not begrudge nor resent when you see these things transpire, but I say be thankful that I, the living God, am rubbing the hypocrite's face in the blood of their own hypocrisy. I say thank me and praise me.
After this I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority. And the earth was made bright with his glory. And he called out with a mighty voice, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling place for demons, a haunt for every unclean spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, a haunt for every unclean and detestable beast. For all nations have drunk the wine of the passion of her sexual immorality. And the kings of the earth have committed immorality with her, and the merchants of the earth have grown rich from the power of her luxurious living. Then I heard another voice from heaven say, "Come out of her, lest you take part in her sins, lest you share in her plagues."